The following is a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Missouri Milestones, the podcast here on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. And as always, brought to you by the Bank of Billings, established 1889, the oldest bank in Christian County. Pleased to be joined alongside by Playing on Sports, Kent Mueller, and our special guest today in this segment, former Kickapoo Lady Chiefs 2012 graduate who finished with 1,184 career points, Annie Armstrong. Annie, thanks so much for your time today.
Thanks for having me on.
Excited to have you here. Don't know, and I've interviewed probably 6,000 student athletes. Don't know that I've ever had the opportunity to sit across from you, but I do appreciate you coming on with us today. And tell us first off, where are you coming on from?
I'm coming from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Very
Been here
good.
for years now. So
Very good. Well, let's talk briefly here, or extensively, I guess, about your high school career. What was it like at Kickapoo High School going from your 8th grade year into your freshman year, and what were the expectations, personal expectations for you at that point?
if we had full, women's basketball tradition. So I think going from 8th grade to freshman year, there's a little bit of intimidation and nerves, and and then once you get into it, and you have such great teammates and great coaches, I think that makes things a whole lot easier. But I was fortunate enough to get to play for Coach Phillips my freshman and sophomore year. And so, I think everybody may be a little intimidated by that, but she was such a wonderful coach that, the transition was, I think, intimidating, but also exciting at the same time.
At what point in your career did you kind of take over in a more prominent role, a starting role? Where were you then?
Probably I think I went into that season with a lot more confidence. Had some good playing our year, and we had made a really good state. But I think transitioning into my junior year, I took more of a role and was a lot more confident and a lot more aggressive.
Tell us and tell the viewers a little bit about some of the ladies that you played with at Kickapoo at that time. And you had mentioned early on, a very successful program, and has been for many years, going from Coach Phillips to Coach Pendergrass, and even prior to that. But tell us a little bit about some of those players that you played with.
Sophomore year, the run to state, Mackenzie Smith, Amanda Landholt, Casey Carroll. Those were some of our leading players that year. And then kind of transitioning from there, some people from my class, Zoe Allen, Lauren Rowland. Those were some great teammates that I had. And then, like you mentioned, getting to play for great coaches too. Obviously, Coach Pendergrass, wonderful coach. And then had Coach Hanchy as well as an assistant coach. So I've been really excited to follow the success she's had as a head coach. So,
well, Coach Pendergrass won a state title again this
year. He's amazing. I love Coach P. He's a great coach, and I'm playing for him.
Yeah. Tell us, and obviously, in Southwest Missouri, everyone knows about the Kickapoo-Glendale rivalry. But looking back, talk about some of those rivals that you had on a personal basis. And I don't mean mean. I mean just people you enjoyed playing against because you knew you were going to get their best shot. It may be a team, and it may be individual players.
Yeah. So that was definitely a rivalry. And then I think for me, I grew up a lot of the that were going to other schools. So at the time, Megan Dynas, she played for Glendale. Jessica Lessman, she was at Nixa. She was one of my very good friends. We grew up playing AAU basketball together from a very young age. So it was always fun and also a little bit competitive, going from playing on the same team, during the summer, and then transitioning to getting to play against each other in big games in high school. But yeah, Glendale probably definitely sticks out as the biggest rivalry, I think.
As you look back at some of those games that stand out in your memory, whether it be good or bad, and a lot of times, myself included, you tend to remember the games that got away from you that maybe you'd like to go back and play again. Hey, we should have won that, or I should have won that. Are there games that stand out in your memory that you'd like to go back and take another shot at?
Um, Gosh, probably. I think probably the ones you think about the most are as you get into the postseason and you're like, maybe if we could have just done, one thing differently in advance further. Probably thinking back to my sophomore year, that was the furthest run that I made in high school, was making it to state, and ended up playing in the third place game. But you kind of think back to that when you get that close, you're like, man, if we could have just, won the playing for the state championship. So that's maybe the one I would think back to the most. But
very good. Very good. Well, we'll talk a little bit. I know Kent's got some questions. He's pretty much dove into your college career pretty extensively. So Kent, and we and her and I, Annie and I have already talked about her time at Eckerd, just a little bit, not on the air, just off the air. But and again, we're visiting with former Kickapoo Lady Chief 2012 graduate Annie Armstrong, who finished with 1,184 points. But Kent, I know you've got some questions with regards to her collegiate time.
Well, yeah, and I'll just leverage off one thing that you had mentioned, the transition from middle school to freshman in high school. It's also a leap going from high school, regardless what high school you were at, to go into college and play there. Describe what that's all about and what that transition is like.
yeah, I think college is different too, because not only are you transitioning in basketball, but you're moving sometimes to a different city, to a different state, living on your own for the first time. So it's definitely a big transition. And then obviously with college, I think there's obviously a faster pace to the game, more physical. So you're having to make those adjustments as well. Even more time demanding. So I think those are all things that are big when going from high school to college.
And is it similar going from Division III to Division II, from Eckerd to Drury?
So Eckerd was actually Division II. So I transferred Division II to Division II.
Okay.
And to be honest, I think the conference I was in at Eckerd was pretty competitive and pretty comparable to the conference that.
Well, you had success both places. You were freshman of the year in the Sunshine Conference, largely because of your shooting. I won't say that's the only thing you did, but that's one thing that stands out because numbers are about offensive stats. But I'm going to point out that you did something 21 times when you were in college.
Okay.
You want to comment on those 21 things?
I don't know.
You spent 4 years in college and you only missed 21 free throws.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you shot 938 over your last 3 years at Drury, which is still the best in Drury history. And you were almost that good your freshman year at Eckerd. I mean, I have it at 278 makes versus 299 attempts. What can you tell the younger girls coming up how to do that, how to prepare themselves? Because you know that not many people can shoot like that. And for you, it wasn't just free throws. I mean, you shot very high percentages from the floor, also and from the 3-point line, but specifically free throws. What would you tell the younger girls coming up?
Well, I think there's a couple things that go into it, but I think number one is obviously practice, and that's probably what everybody would say. But shooting is repetitions. If you're taking a lot of shots and you're getting comfortable with your shot and you're confident in it, I think that makes a big difference. And then I think another thing with free throws is like your mental mindset, like stepping up to the line and like really believing you're going to knock it down and being confident with that, and wanting to shoot free throws. If it's at the end of the game, having confidence in your ability that you're going to knock it down. And so I think those are probably key things, is just the repetitions and then having that mindset and that confidence to trust your skills.
Well, as we all know, that there are a lot of good ball players out there, but there aren't a lot of good free throwers. And I mean, coming up, what coaching I had done, that's always been a frustration of mine that, gosh, I wish I could teach free throwing a little bit better, because it makes such a difference and it says so much about a player. So that's kind of where my questions came from.
Great.
Hey, when you transferred to Drury, and again, we're visiting with Annie Armstrong, 2012 graduate of Kickapoo High School. Did you get to play with some ladies who you were familiar with that maybe you had played against or with in high school or even at the college level?
Yeah, so I got to play my sophomore year with Bethany Funderburk. I had played against her when she was at Nixa. And then, let's see, Shelby White, I think I played against her and Addie Roller when they were at Purdy. And then Addie ended up transferring to Drury, I believe it was our junior year. So I got to play against her in high school and then kind of join forces for the last couple years of our college careers.
Well, outstanding. Let's say, Annie, that you could get in a time machine and go back to that Annie Armstrong as a 11, 12-year-old young lady and give her some advice based on what you know right now at your age. What advice would you go back and give yourself at that age?
That's a tough question. I don't know. I think everybody always says it goes by fast. And it does. And it's one of those things when you're done, you're done. And so I think it's just, really enjoy every moment. And not even the moments like on the court, but just like moments with teammates, moments with coaches, in the locker room trips, those types of things.
So now tell the viewers a little bit about what you're doing now. You already acknowledged that you were in Charlotte. Tell us a bit about what you're doing, how you end up there.
Sure. Yeah. So I ended up to Spain for a year after graduating and playing overseas. And then I came back and went to physical therapy school. And then following that, moved to Charlotte, got married, been here about 5 years, working as a physical therapist, really enjoying the area. Just bought a townhome recently, so kind of settling in still, but all is well.
Physical therapy, was that something that maybe in high school or college you suffered an injury and got interested in it? What led to that? Or is there family in that field?
I was actually really fortunate. I never really had any significant injuries. I mean, an occasional ankle sprain, but nothing very serious. But unfortunately, I did see a lot of teammates with injuries and kind of got fascinated with the rehab process then. And have always loved being around sports and being around athletics. And so it just seemed like something that would fit well with what I was looking to do.
Do you deal with athletes on a regular basis?
Yeah,
Okay.
sometimes I do. And I enjoy working with like the younger athletes, high school and middle school. So.
All right. Well, I have one more question, and I am a mandated reporter for the Missouri State Highway Patrol, which probably won't affect you unless you come home.
Okay.
My question is, do you always wear your seatbelt?
Absolutely. Always wear my seatbelt.
Very good. Very good. Well, Annie, it's been great catching up with you. I was very familiar, watched you play a lot when I was with ESPN and did the high school basketball scoreboard shows for years. Stephanie Phillips, Coach Phillips, and I were actually in class together in college
Really?
for some graduate classes.
That's
And
cool.
so I got very familiar with her. And then Coach Pendergrass was also here at Southwest Baptist when I first moved down here to Bolivar. He was a grad assistant. But Annie, it's been great catching up with you. I really enjoyed the interview, and I hopefully we'll get to do it again sometime. But hey, welcome to the club. You are now a member of the Missouri Milestones Career 1000 list. There are no dues. There's no secret handshakes. Special knocks on the door. You're in it by virtue of the points that you've scored. And congratulations, and thank you for being part of the show today.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it much.
You bet. You're watching Missouri Stones, the podcast, here on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where we all remind you, hey, take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow.